Frequency Matters, the RF and microwave update. I'm Pat Hindle, and I'm here with my co-host Gary Lerude. In this episode, we thought we'd take a look at our October passive and control component issue. The cover story is very interesting. Authors from MITRE Corporation and Voxel 8, which produces 3D printers, they work together to develop a new generation of additive manufacturing techniques to create complex phased array and metamaterial structures. And these structures, they take a look at the different materials and techniques to build them, and they evaluate it by making a Wi-Fi antenna. And so now they're going to work on phased array and metamaterial complex structures next, so we hope to report on that in the future. So what do we have for technical features?
Yeah, that was quite an interesting article, and I was amazed at all the work that had been done. In the technical features, we have an article that I found particularly interesting about the new Wi-Fi standard 802.11ax. And this is a tutorial by National Instruments. And you've probably had this experience, sat in an airport trying to log on to the free Wi-Fi, and you never can get on.
A lot.
Well, the AX version of Wi-Fi is designed for very dense areas like airports, stadiums, and so forth. And they do a great job of explaining why you can't log on with the traditional systems. We also have an antenna design article from Altair Engineering where they talk about using the characteristic mode analysis for antenna design. We have two app notes. One measuring phase noise with balance. Oftentimes balance are used for phase noise and jitter measurements, and it's not always straightforward because they can introduce artifacts. So a joint article from Jitter Labs and Marquee Microwave cover that topic. And then another app note on what we tend to take as a routine model element, the equivalent series resistance in a capacitor. Again, that's not an easy thing to measure, so Knowles Corporation has written an app note on some of the tricks and techniques for measuring that.
Yeah, I find those app notes are very useful. They're very practical.
Exactly. So how about product features?
Yeah, so for product features, we had Keysight's real-time spectrum analysis that was added to their handheld FieldFox analyzers. And that can real-time process up to 10 megahertz of bandwidth. And these units are now operating to 50 gigahertz, which is tremendous for that little compact analyzer. And then we also had Pasternak's GaN amplifier families. And so those operate over various ranges up to 7.5 gigahertz. And they have up to 100 watts of output power and up to 60 dB gain. So quite a big family of GaN amps added to their portfolio.
Yeah, GaN is really proliferating.
Everywhere. So how about tech briefs?
Well, we have a couple of tech briefs in this issue. One is a rugged digital transceiver. It's commercial off the shelf, available from Innovative Integration. It does data logging. It has 4 channels of digital down conversion, 2 channels of digital up conversion, and then FFT spectrum analysis. And they use 1 gigahertz 14-bit, both DACs and ADCs. So quite a powerful instrument for logging data. Then from Linear Technology, we have a high linearity 0IF IQ demodulator. This has 1 gigahertz of bandwidth, and it can be used anywhere from 300 megahertz up to 6 gigahertz. So how about other things in the news, for example?
Yeah, also in the issue, I wanted to note that we have a Q&A session with Ted Rappaport from NYU Wireless. So that's a very interesting piece because the FCC recently implemented rules for microwave and millimeter wave communications. So I thought it'd be a good time to catch up with him on the impact that has on the industry and 5G for the future.
Yeah, he's got a great perspective.
He's great. And he also was just in the news. He just published a new article on millimeter wave communications for rural connectivity. So now he's modeling the rural connections, and he's using his 73 gigahertz, and he went out into the rural part of Virginia, and he presents new rural macrocell path loss models for millimeter wave frequencies. And the interesting thing is he identified some problems with the rural macrocell model that's currently used in 3GPP release 14. So he pointed that out, and then he offers a close-in reference distance model that has improved accuracy and fewer parameters, so it's simpler and it's a more stable model. So he's been doing a lot of work at these millimeter wave frequency and continues to revolutionize our industry.
Yeah, that reminds me of another thing that I saw. AT&T recently released a system concept they call AirGig, not to be confused with WiGig. But it's novel in the sense, as I understand it, they launch a wave along a power line, and it doesn't really propagate on the power line, but the power line is sort of a waveguide for something other than, say, a TEM mode. And so you can envision a use case where perhaps using point-to-point radio, they basically get to a power pole, launch this wave along the power line. Periodically, they have repeaters. Then, say, at some pole in a neighborhood, they could convert that millimeter wave signal to either, say, an LTE signal or a 5G signal for coverage in the neighborhood, or perhaps just another millimeter wave signal for fixed wireless access. So it's pretty interesting. They didn't give a lot of details, so there's a lot of discussion about it in our RF microwave community on LinkedIn.
Right, yeah, I saw that.
But they're talking about actually trying to do a field trial, finding a utility that they can work with in 2017. So we'll continue to watch that. The other thing I wanted to mention, as you well know, Graham Board of Macom dropped in to the studio and we had a conversation with him, and I'd like to show a bit of that interview here. So tell me a little bit about the markets you're particularly focused on with the catalog products you're developing.
So primarily right now we're focused on test and measurement, SATCOM, CATV, wired broadband, ISM, also on A&D COTS and the catalog general play as well.
And what is it about some of those markets that makes them attractive to you?
Well, I think the markets are very attractive to us now because of the dynamics of what's happening in the markets, particularly from a competitive perspective. As we're all aware, there's been tremendous consolidation in the market over the last number of years. We've seen a lot of consolidation in the RF semiconductor sector, so much fewer players in that sector than there's been in the past. And it's presenting significant challenges for a lot of the customers in these segments. We're seeing that a lot of the incumbents are actually exiting these segments, obsoleting products, obsoleting portfolios, and presenting tremendous opportunity for Macom to come back into the market and to service customers' needs.
So when you talk to customers with some of these products, what do you find really differentiates the company? What do you bring to the market with your products?
I think first and foremost, it's the 60-year heritage that Macom has. I mean, that's a great calling card for us, right, when we go and visit customers. And then the domain expertise that we have in RF microwave and millimeter wave. We're very focused on developing high-performance MMICs, and we've really expanded our RF engineering competence and organization over the last number of years. So we've added a lot of horsepower, if you will, to the RF engineering side of our company. So, it's a combination of all of those things, coupled with the fact I say that, we're focused on this market. We see tremendous value and we can deliver that value to customers.
That was a very interesting interview with Graham Board. He's always interesting to talk to. We just saw him in London at European Microwave Week, where Macom released 27 new products for multi-markets. So that was, they're really aggressively attacking that market with some interesting products.
Exactly. Very prolific in the product developments there.
Yeah, so turning to events, we did just return from European Microwave Week, so it made its return to London after a 15-year hiatus. And what a return it was. There were records set for a number of delegates and number of exhibitors. They had over 1,500 delegates and about 5,000 visitors, so it was a very active event.
Yeah, it was great. I was glad to be back in London, and the show was excellent, the technical papers as well as the exhibition. So I think, unfortunately, that's in the past. I know we're all starting to think about the future. EDICon China is coming up in April. The call for papers is open.
Right.
And so we'd like to encourage people. You have until the end of November to submit an abstract. That's all you have to do. You don't have to write the paper yet. Just submit the abstract. So a good way to do that, my recommendation, is think about a topic that you think is practical, would be of interest, and also maybe a customer you could visit in China, because this will be in Shanghai, and approach your management with that dual concept, and we hope to see your abstract.
Should be well worthwhile then.
Exactly. So I think that's a wrap for this episode. We want to thank you for watching, and we want to thank our sponsor, Mini Circuits, for making it possible. You can check out their broad range of products on their website, minicircuits.com. Thanks again.